Good evening everybody, welcome back to TTTV. This is TTL F1, season number 13 and round number 9, which takes us to the Austrian Grand Prix at the legendary track in Spielberg. My name is Kieran McGinley. I've already got my own name wrong. Oh boy. And don't mention anything about the hills. Nothing about the hills. Anyway, Squeezy is looking to break some records tonight. Well, he's already broken it with 6 wins in a row. He's looking to make it 7 tonight and trying to win the first 8 races. Or 8 out of 9 races, I should say, by the end of tonight. Now, we've had a couple of driver changes. Old Man Barry is making his debut in the Sauber tonight. We welcome him to TTL F1. And George Roberts has moved up from a reserve. He's replacing the outgoing Jay at the McLaren spot. Unfortunately, Jay has had to retire from the season. Hopefully, we will see him back in the near future. However, what this means then is it really does open up this title chase. And, well, if there are hills in Austria, there's a mountain to climb for anybody chasing Squeezy. At the moment, it is Spike on 74 points, his teammate. Squeezy is leading 193. It's quite a gap to the top. It's over 100 points right now. Meanwhile, you have Ollie in 4th, tied with Sean there on 61 points. Then it's Laronix as a reserve in 6th place. He's on 58 points. Lighty's in 7th on 44 points. Then it's Lambo in 8th, running no ABS tonight. Watch out for the braking zones. He's on 42 points. Odems and Zenki are tied for 9th place. They're both on 30 points. Maze is in 11th on 29 points. White in 12th on 26. Then it's Siege in 13th on 22, making a resurgence back to TTL F1. Blizzard and Poe are tied in 14th place. They're both on 10 points. Alan K is 16th on 9 points. Little Piece making his debut for the season, making his return last time out, scoring 8 points. It was a fantastic race from him. He's in 17th place in the standings. Dave M as a reserve in 18th. He's on 4 points. Graham in 19th. He's on 3 points. Yuzi in 20th, tied with Plaster there, on both on 2 points. And Damien in 22nd place. He's on the 1 lone point. Looking at the constructors, it's an even bigger gap. Mercedes lead 267 to McLaren's 109. It's Red Bull in 3rd on 95. Toro Rosso in 4th on 68. Haas in 5th on 66. Williams then in 6th on 58 points, with Ferrari in 7th on 52. Force India are in 8th on 44 points. Renault in 9th on 38. And Sauber just after 3 points to their name this season. All the points so far scored by Graham. And of course, with Sauber making the signing of Old Man Barry, obviously we'll have to wait and see how Barry does on his debut. I will shorten his name to Barry. No point calling him Old Man Barry throughout the entire stream, even though you might want to, you may want to. I'll be looking to just well, call him Barry. Good evening to everybody joining us in the chat and in the stream. It's great to have you with us, and if we get another race like France, it was absolutely fantastic. No incidents were reported to the stewards, and Lighty was saying in the chat on Tuesday night that he ran into the back of someone and expletive his own strategy, but he admitted fault to it. He said he left his braking late, ran into the back of someone, and that was that. So no incidents reported on France. And yeah, it was one of those races where there was so much battling happening up and down the field, and obviously we lost Pursuit in that race, who was battling away. He is back tonight in the Force India. He actually said to me at the end of the race, "Did you get any of that battle?" "Yes, Pursuit. I pretty much got all the battle. The only thing I missed was you crashing out." I think that was the only thing. Maybe that was a saving grace rather than anything else. But we have 16 drivers in the lobby. I believe we're waiting for just a couple more. We won't be far away from the race starting. And Maze, about half an hour before, Maze was talking to me, and he says he's pretty confident he's going to win. He said, "I have a little secret for you. I'm going to win." I said, "Oh yeah?" He said, "No, I'm not really." He said, "If I can't get a win in F2, how am I supposed to get a win in F1? Well, Maze, if it makes any consolation, you've got more wins in TTL than I have, so what do I know? More race wins overall ever. Of course, I used to race in TTFL. I got 6 podiums, but never a race win. That always eluded me. But hey, what can you do? Maybe I was more suited to the commentary box. It took me Not many races actually. I think it took me 12, 13 races to realise I'm actually better in the commentary box. But there we go. Who knows? Anyway, won't be long now till the session gets underway, and well, it is looking like Squeezy. He wants to get the those 7 on the trot, 7 wins on the trot, and it should be an interesting one. Spike, though, in commentator's corner, he was telling me last week. Oh, I say last week. He was telling me on Tuesday that this track, he loves this track. He thinks he's going to do well here, and qualifying is really important. Of course, it's such a short track, one of the shortest on the calendar. You know, qualifying is crucial at that point. If you lose a 10th, you're going down 2 or 3 positions. It's only 4.318 kilometers long. First race back in 1970. It's since been redesigned, gone through several names. It used to be called the A1 Ring till it was dropped in 2002, I believe it was. It was the last time. Then it came back as the Red Bull Ring back in 2014, where actually Sebastian Vettel, in the home crowd of the Red Bull Racing Team, retired just in front of one of the grandstands, I believe that was. But the lap record, 1 minute and 6.957, set by Kimi Raikkonen in the Ferrari in 2018. And we're looking at 36 laps around here, so we're looking at a race distance of about 157 kilometres. And we're taking the 3 softest tyres with us, the Hypersofts, the Ultrasofts and the Supersofts, I believe. If I remember rightly. I probably remember wrongly, but we all shall be revealed when we get into the lobby. No, actually, they use the soft tyres, don't they? Well, one thing's for sure is that we will be waiting for that. But obviously, make sure you're tuning in and looking forward to this one. It should be a good one. Austria is one of those tracks that drop the controller. Professional stream as always. Austria is always one of those tracks that provides a good amount of overtaking. You've got the 3 DRS zones. The zone 1 is from turn 1 all the way up towards turn 3. Then you've got the second DRS zone with only the same detection point running from turn 3 all the way down towards turn 4. And then you've got the third detection, or the third zone, on the exit of turn 10 all the way down to turn 1. And actually, I'm just going to correct myself, because it's actually it's 3 DRS zones and 3 detection points. So there's one just before the braking zone of turn 1, there's one at the braking zone of turn 3 coming up the hill, and then there's a detection point just after turn 9, the penultimate corner. And one person who is back here is Crazy Legs. And obviously he was the record holder in world titles back in the day, since been overtaken by Blizzard, but his 2 drivers world championships are nothing to shake a stick at. Now, he was talking about coming back, and he's on a new wheel setup, and I quote him as saying, "I'm probably going to be a danger tonight." But it's great to see Crazy back. Obviously a legend of TTL F1, and we'll be keeping a close eye on him and seeing how he does tonight. And I believe we've got 18 people in the lobby tonight, so a great turnout tonight for the Austrian Grand Prix. And there's always a bit of a debate about the Austrian Grand Prix, whether there's 10 corners or whether there's 9 corners. On the run up towards turn 3, as it appears on my map, you've got that sort of slight left-hander just before the braking zone. Now, FOM count that as turn 2, and the FIA do as well. So it all comes down to how many G's it pulls when you get to a certain point of the track. If it pulls a certain amount of G's, then the FIA then classify that as a corner, because there's a certain turning force. It's a lot of technical jargon that I don't quite understand, but someone understands it better than me, and they call it a corner. So what can I do? And obviously one of the corners is named after the late Jochen Rindt, turn 9 to be exact. Obviously the only posthumous world champion in Formula 1 ever. Dominated his season so much that he didn't even have to finish it, and he still was awarded the title at the end of the season. And it just showed you how much he dominated that season. As the Force India is the first person out onto the track, and we shall shortly see some people on their flying laps. Ultrasofts, Supersofts and Softs. I almost got it right. And that is Pursuit is the first person out on track then, as he makes his way now up towards turn 3. And looking to basically build on himself. He's been struggling in the last 2 races, hasn't finished either race. He was having a really good battle with the likes of Little Piece and his teammate as well, Light E, at the French Grand Prix, but unfortunately he crashed out about halfway through the race, and Spike has already retired. So while the Mercedes driver will be starting towards the back of the grid, obviously he's 15th in the lobby so far, as we jump on board with Pursuit then, as he makes his way through now to turn 8, up the hill towards turn 9. You sort of go up the crest and then down the hill towards turn 9 now. We'll jump on board with the Force India then as he makes his way around the final corner and towards the start finish line. DRS wide open as you make your way towards the start finish line. Then you're going uphill, one of the few circuits where the first corner goes uphill. Use that force to slow you down, to help you slow you down. Use the curb on the left hand side. Watch the sleeping policeman all the way on the left hand side and really unsettle the car. Here we go through now turn 2 and up the hill now towards turn 3, and Pursuit decides not to use that little bit of curbing on the left hand side. Down to second gear as we now go up the gears through the DRS zone, the second one on track as we now head down the hill towards turn 4. Lots of undulation makes the Austria Grand Prix one of the most challenging circuits as well. Here we go through turn 4. It's a lower speed corner than you realise as we now head through turn 5. Full throttle as we now head towards turn 6, using that curb on the right hand side to turn in here. This is where the aero asks a lot from you as we now head towards turn 7. Use that tarmac on the right hand side as well as we turn into turn 7. Now through turn 8 is full throttle now up the crest towards turn 9. And this is the part where people can invalidate their laps if you run too wide. Turning into turn 9 now, and now on the run down towards turn 10. Don't take too much curve on the left hand side, you'll invalidate the lap time as we now head towards the start finish line on board with Pursuit. So 105.9 on a set of soft tyres. Very quick lap around here, and it's one of those tracks where if you lose a tenth of a second, that could be second, third, fourth, fifth gone from you. So you've just got to be very, very careful about setting those lap times. 104.6 from Squeezy then on the mid-range super soft tyres as he looks to pick up exactly where he left off from France, as Zenki did put up a fight with him. He wasn't willing to let it go without a battle, and Zenki has a new teammate tonight in George Roberts as McLaren look to just get a signing over the line, and George Roberts is thrilled to be a full-time driver in the league, and he wants to start off on the right foot with McLaren. Zenki now makes his way around turn 3. Into the DRS zone he goes, and Poe here 104.1 on the softest ultra soft tyre as Lighty then comes across the line 104.5 again on those ultra soft tyres. And one man who has been struggling is Poe, only 10 points to his name this season, and in fact the Ferraris have been struggling as well. They really haven't started off on the right foot, and with the likes of Lambo and Poe you would expect Ferrari to be doing a lot better than they are right now. Between them, 54 points, I think it was, when I looked at the Constructors' table last. So Ferrari really have been struggling this season. And they'll be looking to see if they can make Austria their turning point. Stranger things have happened, of course, as Zenki now goes top 104.0 on a set of super soft tyres. He's looking to try and make this charge and do whatever he can to disrupt Squeezy's momentum. We've got Sean as well, who's in some fantastic form. Finished P5 at France. Got a good result at Canada and a podium at Monaco. So he's really been enjoying himself recently. It's a 105.947, which puts him in 6th place right now. Graham then making his way around the final corner, looking to put some valuable points on the board as he makes his way across the line now. And it's a 105.8, which puts him above Nexus Pursuit into P5. Alan Kay then 107.0 as he makes his way up towards turn 1. George Roberts, first qualifying lap in the McLaren. It's a 107.6 from him. And let's see who else we've got out there. We've got Plaster then 107.6 in the Red Bull as Ollie makes his way around the final corner. Will this lap count? It will, and he goes top of the table there. 103.8 on those ultra soft tyres. Very quick laps around here. This race flies by, especially if it's dry. And yep, Maze in the chat there just confirming that it will be dry for this session. And well, Marquez is here tonight. Of course, it is a Thursday, so Williams call upon Marquez to jump in the car and get going. And it's an interesting call from Williams to just go with Marquez, who's only driving on Thursdays at the moment. if he gets the chance. So it's a bold call from Williams, but it's a call that's worked so far, because I believe Marquez has been doing quite well in the championship. He's finally got that point scoring finish that he so desperately needed last week, and he'll be hoping to build on that momentum as we now head. We've got a Renault there just facing the wrong way. Is that Alan Kay? It is Alan Kay, as he looks, he's just waiting there to find the gap. Just a bit of an odd sight to see, as here comes Odems then, making his way now towards turn 2. Up the hill he goes. And where will this put him? He's putting on a set of ultra soft tyres. Marquez's strategy recently has just been to try and go for some 2 stops and see if he can get to the end quicker than everybody else can, whereas other people prefer the 1 stop, as he now heads down towards turn 4. Very easy to lock up going through here, and you can see their front right just locked up there, as we now got to watch the traction on the exit as we now make our way towards turn 6 now, chucking the car in, using that curve on the inside there to help the car turn in, as we now head through turn 7 now. Through turn 8, watch the curving there. Marquez is just about keeping 2 wheels on the track as he now makes his way towards turn 9. And here we go, chucking the car in, using both curbs then. Now will the lap stay valid as we make our way around the final corner? Marquez is using that curving there as he comes across the line. It was a 103.7, would have been provisional pole position, but the lap time was invalidated. Here comes Lambo around the final 2 corners, ready to start his flying lap. Hasn't set a lap time just yet. Really hoping to make an impact with this one. Up the hill he goes through turn 1, running no ABS tonight, I believe for the first time. As he now makes his way towards turn 2 and turn 3. That's a Red Bull getting well out of the way then. That could be plaster. As he now makes his way up towards turn 3. And Lambo here making his way now down the hill towards turn 4. And again, very tricky braking zone to get absolutely spot on, as Lambo runs a little bit deep into turn 4. Might help him on the exit though, as he now makes his way towards turn 6 and then through turn 7. And can this struggling Ferrari get into the top 10? It's been a struggle for Lambo recently. And as he now makes his way up the hill, down the crest, through turn 9, chucking the car in, runs wide though. That could be enough to invalidate the lap as Lambo makes his way around the final corner. And what lap time is it going to be? It's a 104.7, and again, yes, it has been invalidated. Meanwhile, the other Ferrari of Poe, 103.7 on a set of ultra soft tyres. Ollie making his way towards the line as he looks to start a flying lap. How's Zenke doing then? He's currently on a set of ultra soft tyres. It's a good lap on those super softs, 104.0, but clearly Zenke wants pole position. It looks like he's going to try and do everything he can to get there. As you can see, the best tyres so far, the top 7 on ultra softs, apart from Zenke, who's looking to try and set a lap time on these ultra soft tyres now. Everyone below 9th place now, that is, has set their best lap time on a set of soft tyres. Mays then going up to P6 with a 105.1. And here comes Zenke then around the final corner. Can he get that McLaren on the front row as he looks towards the start-finish line? It's a 103.5. Zenke on provisional pole by just under 0.2 of a second. And let's have a look at Lighty then, as he makes his way towards the line to start what I believe is a flying lap. And it is indeed, as Yuzi retires from the session in P7 right now. And Pursuit here now making his way up towards turn 3 now. The thing with the ERS is you can really attack with it here. The deployment here, you can see that white bar with a D next to it means the deployment. That's how much they are allowed to deploy, and the big blue bar is how much they've got to deploy. So as you can see here, the white bar doesn't go down as aggressively at other tracks. But here it seems to just take a leisurely stroll down towards there. You can really attack with the ERS, and it really can provide some very quick lap times as Pursuit now makes his way towards the final 2 corners. A driver who really needs a finish on the board, and a point scoring one at that. Here comes Pursuit then towards the start finish line, and what's this lap time going to be? It's a 104.9, and that puts him up to 6th place on a set of super soft tyres. Crazy Legs here on a new setup, on a new wheel, making his way now down towards turn 4. And he said to me that he thought he was going to be a little bit of a hazard tonight. But, well, you've all got to start on a wheel at some point, haven't you? But Crazy now making his way towards turn 6 now. And where will this lap time put him, I wonder? Former champion of TTL F1 as he now makes his way through turn 8 and towards turns 9 and 10. And let's see, chucks the car in. You can see there a little bit of understeer from the Haas as he makes his way now through the final corner. And Crazy Legs making his way towards the line. And it is a 106.9, but the lap wasn't valid. We've got Marquez's then making his way around the final corner. Now, is this it's an out lap? He runs wide at the final corner. That could be enough to invalidate the lap. Alan Kay, meanwhile, up to P10 on his most recent lap time on those super soft tyres. We've got Plaster on a lap here. Or is this an out lap, I wonder? It's an out lap as he makes his way through the final corner. And now he's going on a set of ultra soft tyres. So he set his banker lap time on the softs. Now he's going for 2-step softer tyres as he makes his way through turn 1. We've got Squeezy there in second place, 103.7. As he now makes his way back towards the pit lane for, I'm assuming, it's going to be one more run. Ollie coming across the line then. And that looks like a flying lap that started from him. Currently 4th place in the Red Bull. We've got the Force Indias of Lighty and Pursuit in 5th and 6th. And at the moment in qualifying, they can hardly be separated. Graham in the pits then, currently in P9 as Alan Kay makes his way towards the pits. Now, this is where turn 9 is always going to be a bit of an awkward one. You've got the pit lane on the right hand side, the pit lane entrance. It's always going to be tricky. It's right on the racing line, but you have to commit early to the pit lane entrance. Not only for your sake, but the sake of the other drivers as well. Here comes Plaster then, towards the start-finish line. Can he improve on P14? He can indeed. It's P11 for Plaster then. It's a 105.898. As Mays retires from the session then. One lap seemingly all he wants to do. As Crazy now making his way back towards the pit lane. Still hasn't set a lap time just yet. Neither has Lambo and Spike. He hasn't set a lap time. He retired very early on. Marquez is, by the way, up to P2 this time around. 103.692. So the Williams then getting onto the front row. But Marquez will not be happy with that. He'll want pole position as he makes his way now back towards the pit lane. And Ollie here, 5th place at the moment. And he'll be looking here to get even better than that. 4 minutes to go, just over, of qualifying before we finalise these results. And only 2 drivers who are still in this session have got to set a lap time, Lambo and Crazy. On his debut here, Barry is making his way towards turn 6 now, Sauber's newest signing, as he now makes his way towards turn 7, looking to just get a finish under his belt. That would be all he wanted for his debut. He now makes his way up the hill, down the crest, towards turns 9 and 10. And what can this be from the Sauber driver? Through turn 10 he goes, and now towards the start-finish line. Where can the Sauber put himself? It's an improvement of half a second, but no move up of position. Stays in P15, just behind George Roberts there in the McLaren. You've got Sean on a lap as well. His best lap time so far has been on a set of soft tyres. He's one of the cars in form. That Haas looks in great control with Sean. Haas have made a really good signing. That's a car off there. That's Plaster in the gravel there. Sean now going through turn 6 and then through turn 7. You can see there a little bit of trail braking going into turn 7 there, just to keep the car under control. As Plaster now retires from the session, so he will be outside of the top 10. Sean now coming through the final 2 corners as he makes his way now towards turn 10 and towards the start-finish line. Can Sean get into the top 10 with the Haas? Yes, he can. 9th place so far for him on a set of super soft tyres. Now he'll be hoping that he can stay there because that might give him a strategy advantage. Lighty on an outlap, now making his way towards the start-finish line on a set of ultra soft tyres. Just over 2 minutes to go then, as Lighty makes his way now down towards turn 10. And looking then to get even higher than 6th place. Currently ahead of his teammate Pursuit right now as George Roberts retires from the session. As Lighty makes his way through turn 1. Squeezy there, as you can see, and Lighty's backed out of his lap. And you can see there Squeezy now making his way up towards turn 3, really revving that car as much as possible. He's trying to burn off as much fuel as possible. Of course, the lowest amount of fuel here, and you've got 4.5 laps of fuel on board, and that's something you don't want. So Squeezy's just doing his best here. Look at that, trying to make the track as long as possible by weaving, trying to rev the engine as much as he possibly can to burn off that fuel. And it's not a bad idea as long as he keeps control of that car. He's got around about 2/10 to find if he's going to grab provisional pole position. Marquez as well out on track. He's weaving, that's for sure, but not revving the engine. Zenki currently on provisional pole, making his way through turn 3. You've got Poe as well as Ollie in P5. Lighty in 6th place, making his way around. He's going to try again though. So Squeezy then making his way onto a flying lap, the final one of the session. Less than a minute to go as we now head up the hill towards turn 1 with Squeezy. As he now makes his way towards turn 3, and that was a car off then, and that was Barry, who must have got it wrong out of turn 1 there. Didn't quite see it, but we did see a stricken Sauber. Here comes Squeezy then through turn 3. Really important to get the exit spot on, otherwise it can ruin your entire lap. Down the hill we go then with Squeezy as he makes his way towards turn 4. You've got to get the braking right through turn 4. It's a tricky part of the track. As we now make our way through the right-hander of turn 5, on towards the left-hander of turn 6. This is where you're relying on the aero and the grip to just get you through the corner. Squeezy then currently in 3rd place as he now makes his way towards the final 2 corners. Down the hill we go through turn 9, then through turn 10. And can Squeezy get a lap on the board? He runs very wide. No, he's binned it. Didn't get a chance to get that better lap time. 3rd place at the moment. How about Marquez? Has he got a chance here to get a lap on the board? Ollie, 5th place, couldn't improve. Marquez is now making his way around the final corner. What can the Williams driver do? Kept it clean through the final 2 corners. What can Marquez get? It's provisional pole, 103.4. How about Zenki then? A chance to get pole position here at Austria, to try and take advantage of Squeezy as he runs wide at turn 9. That could be enough to invalidate the time. Here comes Zenki towards the start-finish line. And it's pole position, 103.445, 200ths of a second so far. How about Poe coming around the final corner? And he runs wide. No, he bins it as well. And that's that then. Zenki on pole position with Squeezy in P3. Marquez splitting the 2 of them. Just 200ths of a second separating the front row, and Squeezy there invalidating his lap time, and that means he will start from the 2nd row of the grid. It's not often that's happened this season, and Zenki needs to get full advantage of that. But there is your qualifying results. Zenki on pole position with Marquez in 2nd, Squeezy then in 3rd with Poe in 4th, Ollie in 5th with Lighty in 6th, Nexus in 7th, Sean there in 8th with Maze in 9th, and Alan Kay rounding up the top 10. Then it's Yuzi in 11th, Graham in 12th, Plaster 13th with George Roberts in 14th, Barry in 15th, Lambo, Crazy and Spike not setting a lap time during this qualifying session. So it's all to play for then, and Lambo has a job on his hands if he's going to make it towards the front of the pack. Last time out he was having a really good battle for the lead there, but it seems this time things are not going his way. He goes into this race looking to get those points on the board rather than anything else. And he has struggled this season, as had Poe. So it's really going to be tough for the Ferraris today. But Poe at least gets himself into the top 10 and has a good chance here of scoring some points. Poe's downfall this season is getting those on-track penalties. He seems to cut the track and really just can't seem to get the racing line right. And of course when you do that, that gets you the risk of penalties, and when you get penalties you just get frustrated. You try and get more time to make up for the penalties, then you get another one. It's building up and up for Poe, and you can see the frustration as he drives. But today he'll be hoping for a different story as he starts from the second row of the grid, P4. The drivers then away on their formation lap. Just over a minute on this formation lap as Zenki will lead the field up towards turn 1. Marquez here in second place, of course, on those ultra soft tyres. And those ultra soft tyres can get you into double figures, but you've got to manage them well. The rear tyres here can take a beating, especially out of turns 3, 4, 9 and 10. You've really got to be careful on the traction out of those corners. You've got Squeezy there in third place, with Poe in fourth. Obviously the top 10 starting on the tyres they qualified on. Both Renaults into the top 10. They'll be hoping for a better result than last time out, with no points on the board whatsoever. It's Yuzi in 11th place, starting on Super Softs. Graham in 12th. Plaster in 13th. George Roberts, first full race in 18. He's part of the McLaren team, starting from P14. Barry there in 15th on his TTL F1 debut. They're all starting on super soft tyres. Lambo in 16th, Crazy Legs in 17th, and Spike bringing up the rear of the pack, all on the soft tyres. So looking to try and make that stint run as long as possible. Much the way past 20 laps, you're looking at around about 24 laps on those soft tyres. It's the maximum you can get out of them. But Zenki makes his way around the final couple of corners and leads the field back towards the grid then. Very quick formation lap. And TTL F1 is brought to you by WeakWiFiSolutions.com, who also sponsor the Driver of the Day award. And it's also sponsored by A-Logo, who are also sponsoring the fastest lap of the race award. As the cars then line up on the grid for the 9th round of TTL F1, with Squeezy looking to make it 7 on the trot and 8 wins out of 9. Will he be able to do it then? As we patiently wait for the lights to come on, the tension rises, and who will get the best start here as we count up to the 5 red lights? Round 9 is underway, and what are the starts like? Looks like the McLaren's got a really good start. Watch out for the Ferrari behind as we head up the hill towards turn 1. Squeezy looking up the inside. It's 3 wide going through turn 1. A little bit of contact there between the Ferrari and the Mercedes as we jump out of turn 1 side by side. Squeezy and Poe run as we head up the hill towards turn 3. Squeezy looks to cut off the Ferrari then as we head up the hill towards turn 4. Watch out for the Force Indias behind as we look to see who makes it through turn 3. On board with Yuzi then as positions are being made left, right and centre. As we run on board with Marquez looking back at that battle between Squeezy and Poe, and Marquez goes for a move up the inside. Did he make it stick, I wonder? He did! Going in towards turn 4 there. Didn't think he was going to make that move stick, but he has done. So Marquez takes the lead going in towards turn 4. Lighty putting pressure on Ollie as we make our way through 6 and 7 here. But you can see Zenki piling on the pressure then in the McLaren. He knows this is a really important time for him. Squeezy behind him. He's got to take the full 25 points when he can. And we're heading through turn 9. Now down the hill towards turn 10. Barry's got a good start. He's up to 14th place. Spike starting from P18 up to 15th place as Zenki sets the fastest lap of the race. That's on because he was the second car across the line as he takes a chip away at those braking balls. You can see single file as we head towards turn 1 for the rest of the pack then on board with Zenki as he chases down Marquez as he goes through turn 2 up the hill towards turn 3 then. He'll be on the outside. Marquez looks to defend the inside line. Zenki might try a little bit of a switchback here on the exit of turn 3. Of course, no DRS yet, but you can see Squeezy under pressure from Poe then as Zenki makes his way down towards turn 4. Will he try and move on Marquez? Then he goes for it up the inside, locking up, making a little bit of contact, and Zenki's round. Squeezy collects him. Zenki's out of the race in turn 4. Squeezy had nowhere to go, chips a bit of front wing, and Zenki's day is done. Making a move up the inside of Marquez, tagged the side pod, and around he went. And that is Zenki's day done. He becomes the first retirement. So Marquez leads the race then. And Squeezy has damage to that front wing. Poe now knows he's got to try and take advantage of this as Squeezy looks to go into the pit lane. Does he go into the pits? Of course, Poe has to run a little bit wide. And Squeezy, yes, he comes into the pits now. Looking to put on those soft tyres. And they might be able to get into the end of the race. Sean then looking to try and build on this momentum as he tries to chase down Yuzi. This is for 6th place then. We've also got the Force Indias as well. They're battling together in real life. They're battling together in TTL F1. As they now make their way up the hill now through turn 2 and up the hill towards turn 3. As you can see here, Lighty Out-qualified his teammate, but Pursuit managed to find the way past. Meanwhile, between the Saubers, there's a bit of a battle going on. Barry runs way too deep into turn 3, trying to defend from Graham. And Graham just says, thank you very much, I'll take that position back. Lambo, meanwhile, up to P9 as Yuzi looks for a move up the inside. In fact, this is Sean trying to attack from the outside. This is Yuzi trying to defend 6th place as Sean here looks for a move up the inside at turn 6. And Yuzi leaves him the room there. Yuzi has to go the long way round, but he keeps the position there, and Sean just putting him under that pressure. Meanwhile here, Lambo putting some pressure on Mays on those soft tyres. He can run a long way into this race if he can keep those tyres in check. We got Sean here making his way now through turn 9 and then down the hill towards turn 10. Marquez is setting fastest lap after fastest lap. This is all he wants to do. As we see here, Mays now under pressure from Lambo as we make our way up the hill. As we've got Yuzi here having to defend from Sean. Sean had a look up the inside at turn 1, but decided against making a move. And as you can see here, we've got a Red Bull of Plaster putting Lambo under pressure now. We stay on board with Sean as we make our way towards turn 3, and that is Sean trying to go around the outside as we head through turn 3. And will he try and get a better cut back as we head now down the hill towards turn 4. Sean has the inside line for turn 4. And Yuzi will be on the outside. Sean there trying to take the racing line now away from the Toro Rosso. Can the Toro Rosso get the traction down? No, he can't. Meanwhile, Plaster's made a move on Lambo into turn 4. And Plaster's got that little bit of plucky spirit right now in that Red Bull, keeping Lambo behind him. And Lambo has to do all that hard work again. Mays dropping down to P10 there. As Lambo still tries to put the pressure on the Red Bull then as we head now up the hill. And then down it towards turn 9. And obviously Lambo here as he looks down the inside, and Plaster maybe ran a little bit too deep. Either way, he's lost the position and now he's under pressure here from Mays as we now head up towards turn 1. Mays looking for a move up the inside as we head towards turn 1 now. Leaves his braking later, goes up the inside and takes the position away. And Plaster now down to P10. Meanwhile, both the Saubers are looking for a way past here. They've had some good running recently. And now Graham looks for a move on Plaster then. He chooses the outside line going into turn 3. Will he get the better traction? Runs slightly off track. Plaster might be able to get the power down better as we head now down towards turn 4. As you can see there, Graham trying to hold on as we head towards turn 4. He's got the outside line. The Plaster will have the inside line. Will he try and take the corner there? They'll give each other plenty of room, but it looks like Graham has the better traction on the exit of turn 4 as we head through turn 5. Now towards the braking zone of turn 6. He has the inside line. Plaster then runs a little bit too deep and too wide. And now he has lost a position to Graham. He now finds himself back up into the points. Next it's Barry who wants to try and have a go at Plaster then as we head towards turns 9 and 10. Plaster looking up the inside here as Graham runs a little bit wide on the entry of turn 9. But as you can see as well, Alan Kay, 13th place. He started 10th place, so he's lost a few positions. And Barry here making his way now up towards turn 1. Leaves his braking a little late there, almost making contact with the rear wing of the Red Bull then, but keeps his nose clean. Meanwhile, the Force India's battling in towards turn 4. Or sorry, turn 3 that is. Lighty getting the move done on Pursuit. And meanwhile, Plaster trying to go around the outside now at turn 3. As Graham here has nothing to defend with. Couldn't quite get the power down. He's got the DRS though on Plaster. As we head now down towards turn 4. Will Graham try a move? He thought about it, but nothing doing there. As Sean now finds himself under pressure from Yuzi. There's battles all the way through the field at the moment. Sean here just under pressure from the Toro Rosso as we head through turn 7 now. We now head through turn 8 and towards turn 9. You can see they're riding on board with Yuzi, looking to put that pressure on. Sean here looking to keep up that good form he's had so recently as they make their way through turn 10. You can see there Yuzi with the ERS then, it's down into single figures of percentages right now. Meanwhile Sean is not faring much better. He's definitely trying to use that ERS to its full and to its capacity. Meanwhile then Graham up the inside at turn 1, runs way too deep. Leaves his braking so late there, and this could be a move from his teammate, and it is. Watch out for Alan Kay then as well, as you now head through towards turn 3 now, as Alan Kay might have a move here. Old man Barry's looking up the inside of Plaster. Alan Kay looking up the inside of the Sauber. Nothing doing there. Meanwhile, we're jumping on board with the Force Indias then, who are battling away, and Crazy Legs is out of the race on his return back to TTL F1. He finds himself out of the race then. And that is Pursuit getting past Lighty once again. And I wonder if the team principal's just wondering and just maybe trying to tell them, don't battle too hard. You're both on different strategies. Lambo here in 8th place, looking to make this a recovery drive of sorts. Didn't have the greatest qualifying in the world, starting down in P16. He's looking to take advantage of this one now, making his way through the final corner into the DRS zone and trying to make some ground on UC. Then as we head towards turn 1, you can see the Force Indias, the outline of them, as Pursuit then loses out to Light E. Meanwhile, Lambo gets his move done on the straight before turn 1. It gives UC an opportunity though to have another go. He has the DRS. And you can see the Force Indias still battling up towards turn 3. It's difficult to choose which battle to be on board with, but Yuzi looks for a move down the inside, saw a gap opening, but it was really a half-hearted attempt, if that. And he doesn't go through with the move. Then Barry, a little bit of a tap then from Plaster behind. Plaster thinking he was going to carry a little bit more speed than he did then. And Plaster here coming down the hill. Barry here without the DRS just looks a little bit vulnerable as we head down the hill towards turn 4 now. Plaster having the inside line, a little bit of contact there from Barry, as he then steers away from it, and Plaster back up into the points. This battle for the last points paying position is proving a fantastic one. There's 4 cars involved. It's Plaster, Barry, Graham and Alan Kay all involved in this one, as Alan Kay here might have a little bit of a problem here because he's struggling at the moment, and that might be a little bit of front wing damage to that Renault, and he's coming into the pits here. And what will that mean then? So I don't know if he made contact with the wall, maybe. Anyway, we're riding on board with Barry then as we head up the hill towards turn 1. Plaster runs very deep and has to go the long way round. He goes onto the grass. That's going to cost you a bit of time. And here comes Barry then in the slipstream with the DRS. He moves to the right-hand side. Up the hill now towards turn 3. Has he got the move done? Can he get the braking zone right? Looks up the inside. Loses the back end though. Plaster has to back out of any attempt at a cutback here. And Plaster then moves to the left-hand side, going down the hill now towards turn 4. And Barry has the inside line, able to defend from him. And he gets the move, makes it stick as well. So Barry then up to P10. And look at them behind. It's Squeezy behind them, running into problems early on. One of those things he couldn't do anything about, but now he finds himself down in P13, and that's Marquezes and Poe into the pits. Ollie stays out. Lighty also stays out. They're all on ultra soft tyres, remember. Interesting choice. What does Mays do? He comes in as well. So all the most of the ultra soft runners into the pits then. Only Ollie and Lighty stay out. And you can see a bit of carbon fibre and debris there from where one of the cars crashed out. I'm going to assume that was Crazy Legs, then that's where he lost the car. In a very peculiar place to lose the car. But he does find himself out of this race then. Pursuit then still looking to try and put some pressure on Lighty. As Plaster still trying to go around the outside at turn 3. And you can see there Squeezy taking full advantage of this battle. He's now up to P8 in a matter of seconds. From P13, half a lap ago, he's now up to P8. As we've got yellow flags in sector 2. That's Lambo who's been off into the gravel there. Now that was, he was battling there with Marquezes and Yuzi there. And I wonder if he's got a little bit of damage to that car maybe. He was struggling for grip there. Maybe it's just my eyesight. It looks okay to me though now. So Ollie now comes into the pit. So for a brief moment it's going to be a Force India 1-2. As you now head towards turn 1 for the 11th time. And as you can see here, Barry still trying to put that pressure on Squeezy, but Squeezy is on a charge here on those super soft tyres. So it looks like he's going to have to stop again. But he'll be able to put on those ultra soft tyres towards the end of this race then. Poe trying to make his way back through the field after his stop. And looking in the slipstream then. Moving to the right hand side, and Plaster doesn't make too much of a battle out of it. As Poe gets the position then up towards turn 3. And that looked like a pretty simple move. Meanwhile, Sean and Marquezes going side by side down towards turn 4. Marquezes, who's already pitted, gets the move done. He's now back up to P3. And these positions at this time matters right about now. And as you can see there, Marquezes looking pretty comfortable. He's only 2 seconds back from Pursuit here, who's yet to stop, as has his teammate Lighty. Poe then up to 8th place. It makes his way past Barry then. And here comes Spike, looking for a move then. As we now head down the hill towards turn 6 as Lighty comes into the pits now through turn 7. And Spike must have had an issue early on. He did start on the soft tyres, now on the super softs. He's got a lot of ground to make up. He's going side by side with Ollie then as we head through turn 9 now. And Spike gets the move done then as we head through turn 10. And Spike just has a lot of ground to make up at the moment. He will have to stop again. Very unlikely he'll be able to get those super soft tyres to the end of the race. Meanwhile, Ollie's come in, put on a set of soft tyres, and he wants to make those last to the end of the race. Here comes Marquezes then, side by side with Pursuit then as they make their way through turn 5. Now on the run towards turn 6. And you can see there, Pursuit doesn't make too much of a battle out of it. And Lambo going defensive against Squeezy then. This is a battle for position as Squeezy goes round the outside at turn 6. And Lambo there loses the back end there. Just about kept it in check. And Lambo wanted to see a move up the inside. Couldn't quite make it stick though. And Poe right behind them, looking ominously on. As Lambo, look at that weaving there. Trying to make his car as big as possible in the mirrors of Squeezy then. As that is usually coming into the pits just ahead of them. And the two Ferraris here have a dilemma. Lambo, obviously 12 lap old soft tyres. He's been on those since the very start. You've got Poe behind him on a set of ultra softs. It's their team orders here. And Maze has left the session. Internet worries for Maze then. As Poe then makes a move up towards turn 3 now. Can he make that move stick? Yes, he can. I don't think Lambo made too much of a meal out of that one. So Poe now up a position, up to P5 he goes. And of course Poe does have to stop again in this race. He won't be able to make those ultra softs last to the end. As Maze has thankfully joined back to the session. But he would have lost a lot of time there. Spike then in 12th place right now, trying to chase down Ollie. The Spike then having to pit early has really cost him. As he now makes his way through 6 and 7 now. So Pursuit comes into the pits then. Yellow flags in sector 3. As, well, that's Pursuit having a stop-go penalty. And not sure where the yellow flag is or what it's supposed to be covering. But all we know for sure then is Maze is back into his car and has lost 2 places. So lap 14 of this Grand Prix as Poe now goes up the inside at turn 2. On the run up to turn 3, he's going to be on the outside here as he looks to try and battle away with Squeezy. Squeezy tries to shut the door. Poe's still there though. On now the run down towards turn 4. Who has the DRS? It's Squeezy who has the DRS then. As we now make our way towards turn 4. Poe then not willing to make that move or not willing to make that battle last. Meanwhile, Ollie's gone up a place from Pursuit then, but Pursuit will not be taking that line down. Graham, meanwhile, trying to put some pressure on Lighty. Defends the inside line, does the Force India. Here comes Pursuit round the outside of Ollie then at turn 4, but can't quite make that move stick then. Poe and Squeezy still battling here for 3rd place this is, as you now head towards turns 9 and 10. As you can see, there's Sean in 2nd place, bails out of it, has to make his mandatory stop. As Poe then in the slipstream, looking at the back of Squeezy then, has the DRS. And Squeezy here won't have the DRS out of turn 1. Of course, Sean being in front was the reason Squeezy had that. So he's going to be a little bit more of a target then as we head now through turn 2 and up the hill towards turn 3. You can see that speed difference here. Poe moves to the right hand side, leaves his braking as late as he possibly can, tries to turn in. Will Squeezy try a cut back there? No, he can't. Poe gets the move done and he's now up to 2nd place. And Zenki here will be frustrated that he's out of this race, but he'll be happy to see that move happen. Spike then trying to go around the outside of Pursuit then for position. Battling away for 9th place at the moment. But look at that, Nix's just getting the better exit here. Here comes Graham trying to put some pressure on Ollie meanwhile, as Pursuit holds on down towards turn 4 and keeps the position. Lambo here, 3 seconds down now on Squeezy. I wonder what happened between those two. They were battling away and just looks like Lambo here just on the soft tyres, the old soft tyres, just look like he's falling away at the moment, as you would expect on worn tyres. Lap 16 we have 21 laps to go, and that's Graham coming into the pits. Meanwhile, Spike here in hot pursuit of Pursuit then. As he moves to the right hand side with the DRS side by side on the run up towards turn 1. Spike has the inside line and he gets the move done then. And Pursuit won't have the DRS at all then on the run up towards turn 3, but I don't think Spike has either. You can see how much better in the straight line Pursuit is, and Spike, there's nothing he can do. Straight back past does the Force India go, and Spike here now has the DRS once again to try and make a move down the inside towards turn 4. Has he got the move done then? Locking up a little bit. Has he got the move done? Yes, he has. Spike then up to P7 and Pursuit then down to P8. Meanwhile, Yuzi and Maze battling for position. Maze overcommits though in towards turn 4 and Yuzi can take that position back. Maze is really putting the work and effort in to try and hold on to that position, but not quite there. Not quite happening that time. And Maze here just looking for a weak spot in Yuzi. We've got yellow flags in sector 3 as Lambo's left the session. Lambo leaving the session then. Internet worries for him as well, as Lighty will go straight through him. Now up to P4. And Lambo, who was looking to make those soft tyres last as long as possible, now he's going to go down and down the field then. Pursuit then trying to chase down Spike to take back that 7th place. With 20 laps to go then. I told you this race flies by. Here comes Maze up the inside at turn 3. Has he got that move done? Can he get the traction? Yes, he can. And away he goes once again in that hot lap mode with the ERS. But what about Yuzi? What's his straight line speed like? As we head down towards turn 4, Maze then able to hold on to that position. So that is a good sign for the Renault then. He's now back up to P10. But it looks like he'll have to make another stop. Spike and Pursuit then are just about to overtake the ghost car of Lambo then, as Lambo still hasn't found a way back into the lobby. As Pursuit then looks up the inside of Spike, it can be a little bit distracting when you're trying to follow a ghost car here, but they both make it through and Pursuit actually loses a little bit of time on the Mercedes then. Yuzi still trying to put some pressure on Maze. We're almost at the halfway point of this race. Lap number 18 out of 36 with 19 laps to go. Sean makes his way through the ghost car and now up to P8, and he'll be watching on at this battle here. Spike versus Pursuit. This is for 6th place, and Spike at the moment is the closest person to Squeezy. Squeezy in 3rd place right about now, as Pursuit looks to try and have a move. No, he doesn't. He thought about it though, but wasn't quite close enough to try a move. Usually meanwhile closing it on Maze as we head now down towards turn 4. But nothing doing there then. So some close battles out on track then. There's one battle for P4, as you can see here, with Ollie there just behind Lighty. You've also got the battle for 6th place, the Mercedes being chased down by the Force India of Pursuit. You've also got the battle for the last points playing position. That's Maze and Yuzi, soon to overtake the ghost car of Lambo as they head through turns 9 and 10. Those are the 3 battles that are happening right now. Let me have a look with Lighty and Ollie. Here comes Ollie looking to the left hand side with that DRS. They'll have to go round the outside at turn 3. Can Lighty get the car stopped in time? Yes, he can. But Ollie here, oh, Ollie's lost the back end. Just about kept the car in check though. Went onto the grass, but I tell you what, that looked like a front wheel off for a second there, so he was able to recover and he lives to fight another day. Meanwhile, Pursuit then in the slipstream of Spike as we head now down towards turn 4, but he's run into the back of Spike, and Pursuit then loses that bit of front wing. You could see there Spike, the car got unsettled there, and so Pursuit now will really be struggling with grip. He's on those soft tyres as well, so that is the worst possible scenario he could have had there as we now make our way through 8 and then towards 9 and 10, and Spike is coming into the pits then, and it looks like he's going to put on a new set of tyres. Pursuit opts to stay out with a damaged front wing. Yellow flags in sector 2, and I wonder, is that anybody out there? I can't quite tell. Yellow flags came out, but now they've been brought back in, and meanwhile Sean is chasing down Pursuit here. Pursuit with the damaged front wing, and Sean's just kept himself to himself. Here he comes around the outside then as we head up towards turn 3. He'll have the inside line then for turn 3. Can he get that traction down? Can Pursuit do anything Not really, but with the DRS, he might be able to have another go as we head now down the hill towards turn 4. Will he have a look up the inside? Sean does his best to just put his car in the middle of the track, heading towards the braking zone. And he holds on to the position then, so Sean then up to P6. 8.3 behind the next car, which is Ollie. As Poe into the pits then. Meanwhile, Marquezes still leads then. 13.2 was the gap between himself and Poe before the pit lane. And if he's looking for that 2-stop at the moment, he'll have to pit in very soon. Of course, Austria's a misleading pit lane. It's actually a bit longer than you think. And of course, you've got that exit out of turn 1. Meanwhile, Mays here looks like he's going to come into the pits, and he does. And usually runs a little bit wide. Sometimes it can catch you out as the chasing driver. Ollie, meanwhile, fighting with Lighty. This is for second place right now on the run up towards turn 3. And look at that, Lighty just able to keep the inside line. And Ollie this time keeps the back end in better check this time. And now he's got a great run on Lighty. Then moves to the left-hand side as we run down the hill towards turn 4. He'll have the outside then. But can he keep it clean? Little bit of a tag there with Lighty. But nothing, no harm done. No damage done. And both of them have the cars to fight once again. And Ollie here knows where Lighty is weak at. Obviously with the DRS it's helping him on these runs towards heavy braking zones. Meanwhile then, Squeezy has come in for a new set of soft tyres. That will get him to the end of the race. And he's rejoined just ahead of Sean. Meanwhile then, Ollie still trying to put pressure on Lighty then as we make our way up towards turn 1. And what this does is it actually allows Marquezes to pull away whilst these two are battling, because Poe is 3.1 behind this battle, and that means he's 30 seconds down on Marquezes. And the pit lane here, you're losing around about 23 seconds. Here comes Ollie then up the inside, now around the outside, playing 3 or 4 dummies in the braking zone alone. But still, no way past Lighty. Down the hill they go towards turn 4. Lighty goes defensive early, moves to the right hand side. Ollie trying to use as much slipstream as possible there, but still he can't find that way past Marquezes into the pit. Meanwhile, Spike gets the move done on Plaster. Will Plaster having to go back here in towards turn 3? No, he doesn't. And he drops to P11 now. And meanwhile, Ollie still on the back of that Force India. Lighty doing a tremendous job here at defending. As you can see there, moving to the right hand side, back towards the racing line. Now that is completely legitimate. That's a good move there from Lighty. And yellow flags in sector 2 now. And whatever they were, they're gone now. So where does Marquezes rejoin? He rejoins well in the lead then. 10.8 at the moment between himself and Lighty. And here comes another attempt from Ollie to move to the left hand side. He'll have the outside line then, heading towards turn 3. And will he turn in? Yes, he will. And has he got the move done, I wonder? Well, Lighty will have some DRS then as we head down the hill. As we head towards turn 4. And Lighty, no, he doesn't try a move. And we did see some yellow flags. And that is Plaster. Off the track then. I'd love to tell you where. That's at turn 9. So Plaster then, what's gone wrong for him? He's got front wing damage, that's for sure. And is he making his way back to the pits? Is he waiting for a gap? I'm not entirely sure, but yes, he wants to get back to the pit lane. That's what he wants to do. He was waiting for an opportunity to do so. He takes a 3-second time penalty for his troubles. But meanwhile then, Poe has been catching these two, battling away. And he's now side by side with Lighty as they head towards turn 1. Poe has the DRS then. Up the inside he goes into turn 1. And Lighty has to run wide. And Poe then lets him back through. Look at that. Now towards turn 2. Poe has to try again then. As we head up the hill towards turn 3. Lighty goes defensive. As we now head into turn 3. All about the exit here. And can Poe get a good run? He's right in the slipstream here. Lighty is not going to give him an inch of room. But Poe finds the room on the right-hand side as we head now down the hill towards turn 4. You can see a little bit of lock up there from the Ferrari. Lighty gets onto the curb. That doesn't help his exit from the corner. And Poe then gets past. And this time, he's happy with the move and he stays in P3. Meanwhile, Spike just off camera, up to P9 on his new set of super soft tyres. Gets past Barry here. And Barry right now in P10. And this wouldn't be a bad way to start your TTL F1 career by starting off with a point. Of course, there's still 12 laps to go. But he'll be relatively happy if he can take it home from here. Meanwhile, Poe is looking for another points finish. He's only got 10 on the board this season. And that's much less than you'd expect from him, a driver of his quality. As we head up the hill towards turn 3. At the moment, he's trying to chase down Ollie for a step on the second place spot. We head now down the hill towards turn 4. And again, Poe looking up the inside now, tries to dummy around the outside. Ollie has him covered though. But Ollie on 40 lap old soft tyres. This might be a matter of when and not if. Spike off screen, moves up to P8, gets away past Yuzi then. So Spike just trying to carve his way through the field. Meanwhile, Poe very close to the back of Ollie then as they head through turn 8 and now towards turns 9 and 10. On the run towards turn 9 now and then through turn 10. Ollie there running a little bit wide on the curb. That might compromise his exit into turn 10 here as we now head with Poe in the slipstream. Looks to the right hand side, up the hill towards turn 1. Poe thought about a move but didn't see a gap big enough and backed out of the move. Goes into the slipstream now with the DRS wide open as he looks for yet another move. Ollie covers the right hand side. Poe has to go the long way round towards the left in towards turn 3. Will he try a switch back? He will. And is this going to be good enough to get the good exit that he needs then? Still running side by side as we head now down towards turn 4. And he's got the inside line. Does he have the position then? Ollie having to go the long way around. And Poe there gets the position done, does he? Ollie gets a good exit though out of turn 4. But he'll have to go around the outside at turn 6. And that is Poe then getting the move done. And Ollie runs wide then. Loses the car completely. Went onto the gravel there. A little bit of a half spin. And now he rejoins onto the circuit. Whoa, Lighty had to avoid him there. And I think his life flashed before his eyes then. But Lighty gets through with no damage. And the force in is up to 4th place. Ollie then getting onto the gravel, pushing too hard. Lost the back end and that was that. Meanwhile, Squeezy, under the radar, has come back up to P3. He's now trying to chase down Poe then for 2nd place. 2.7 is the gap. And the points championship leader looks like his winning run might come to an end tonight. There is Marquezes going through your picture. 9.5 laps to go. And on those super soft tyres, he looks unbeatable. The only way he could really be beaten now is on those penalties. Of course, he's got at least one 3-second time penalty. And because I'm on my own. And there's another one. So at least 6 seconds worth of penalties then for Marquezes as he heads through turn 9 and then down towards turn 10. We have 9 laps to go then once he crosses the line, and there it is, 9 laps to go here at the Austrian Grand Prix, and something I haven't had a chance to do at all yet is a runner down of the standings. So Marquezes leads then from Poe, who is in 2nd place. Squeezy is in 3rd with Lighty in 4th. Ollie in 5th, but closing on the Force India ahead of him. Sean in 6th with Spike in 7th after a difficult start for the Mercedes driver. It's Yuzi in 8th with Barry in 9th, and Mays rounding up the top 10. Graham just outside the top 10, 7.6 from a points paying position, with Pursuit there in 12th place. Alan Kay in 13th, with George Roberts in 14th. Lambo running around as a ghost car in 15th place, and Plaster with a new change of front wing in 16th place. 2 non-finishers, Crazy and Zenki, both crashing out of this race. Zenki tried to move on Marquezes, lost the car, and then was collected by Squeezy. Off went his front right tyre, and that was that. Crazy losing the car somewhere between turns 1 and 3. We saw that debris on the grass. So somewhere along the lines he would have lost the car, and that would have been that. Meanwhile then, Pursuit looking to close down on Graham then as we head through turn 1 and now up the hill towards turns 2 and 3. You can see with the DRS then Graham looks on the left hand side. There wasn't much of a gap there. Pursuit made one though as he looks to go round the outside. Brave stuff from Pursuit. Maybe not a move I would have tried, but he's got the move done. He's now up to 11th place, 8 seconds behind a point scoring position right now. But on those ultra soft tyres he could try and make them last. There's yellow flags in sector 2 as looking to see what that's all about. As no, couldn't quite see it there. So whatever the yellow flags were, they're gone now. Lap 29 of this Grand Prix then, as Marquez then looks to try and wrap up today with 25 points. Poe is in second place, looking to add to his 10 points that he's scored this season. Squeezy here, well, his win run may come to an end tonight. 6 wins are in a row. Was looking to make it 7 wins in a row. But tonight, at the moment, with 7 laps to go, doesn't seem to be the case. And with that collision at the start, did it cost him a race win? Well, Marquez, this looks like he had the pace for today, but certainly we would have had a much needed battle for the race win. But Squeezy here just couldn't avoid Zenki. Zenki had spun out into the path of Squeezy. Real racing incident, that one. Nothing Squeezy could have done there. Lost a chunk of his front wing, decided to pit and get it replaced. And that was that. Yuzi then, is he diving into the pits? Yes, Yuzi's into the pits then. So what's happened to Yuzi then? On some soft tyres, obviously not happy with the car. And he's into the pit lane then. So this could be a points scoring opportunity then. George Roberts into the pits then, as he looks to rejoin on a set of ultra soft tyres. Meanwhile, Ollie, after making that mistake, looks to try and recover. He's 1.3 behind Lighty here. Had to come in, replace that front wing. Oh, sorry, he didn't have to replace the front wing, but he definitely had to recover from a mistake. Meanwhile, Graham here is just trying to put some pressure on Yuzi. Yuzi just come out of the pits here. Rejoins in 11th place on a fresh set of ultra soft tyres. George Roberts here has rejoined just behind Plaster then. That's going to be a battle for 14th place in the closing laps of this race. Ollie then just trying to put some pressure on the Force India as we now head through turns 2 and 3. You can see there Ollie has some DRS now, so he'll be able to close in on Lighty a lot quicker than he has done. We have 6 laps to go here at the Austrian Grand Prix, and you can see with that DRS how much Ollie's closing in on these straights as we head towards the braking zone of turn 4 then. Through turn 5 we go, and then here come turn 6 and 7 where you're really relying on the aero and the tyres to get you through the corner. You can see how much more confidence Ollie has looking through these corners here. As we now head up the hill, then down the curve, or down the crest I should say. As we head now through turn 10, 5 laps to go with Marquez in the lead, 16.6 ahead of Poe at the moment. And Ollie here looking to try and at least recover to P4 after his mistake on the exit of turn 6. You can see here Ollie with slipstream with the DRS. Lighty moves to the right hand side as we now make our way up the hill here. Yes, yellow flags up ahead. They've now turned to green, so these two can now battle once again. And you can see there Ollie just backed out before the yellow flag zone. He knew he couldn't make the move, and then just as he was about to enter the zone, it then went to a green flag. So Ollie will be a bit frustrated with that one. As we now head down towards turn 4, you can see here Ollie looking for a move on Lighty. Nothing doing so far as they head now towards turn 6. But still Ollie behind. 4 laps to go then. Marquez is in the lead. 16.5 seconds separates him and Poe. Squeezy 2.7 behind Poe then. And that gap doesn't seem to have moved an inch then. With Lighty and Ollie battling away for P4 in this race right now. As we head through turns 9 and 10. Alan Kay there comes into the pits. You can see him just there. And here comes Ollie, then moves to the right hand side. On the run up towards turn 1. And has he got this move done then on Lighty? Looks to try and cover him off then. Lighty will have some DRS to have another go back at Ollie as we now make our way towards turns 2 and 3. And Lighty in the slipstream with the DRS looks to the left hand side. And Ollie here having to defend the inside line now as Lighty tries to go the long way around. You can see there Ollie doesn't want to give him too much room. But there you can see Lighty has the DRS once again as we now run down towards turn 4. The Red Bull has the inside line. Force India on the outside as Lighty tries to turn in. Ollie's there though. and doing his best to try and defend. You can see Lighty looks like he got a better exit there. But Ollie's got the better run down towards turn 6. A little bit of contact between the two of them there. As 2 into 1. Didn't really go that time. Into turn 7 they go. And they're still side by side as they head their way through turn 8 now. Plenty of space given to each other now. On the run now towards turn 9. And you can see there Ollie has the move done for now. But Lighty's not giving up on this one with 3 laps to go then. It's an incredible battle for 4th place right about now. It may not have been the 4-car battle that we had last season for the lead of the race, but I tell you what, Ollie and Lighty are battling away for fun here. 4th place, this could be important points towards the end of the season, but you see there, Lighty didn't get the greatest exit out of turn 1 in the world, and he's fallen back here. And I wonder if that's to do with the setup there. Maybe his setup was more aggressive on the tyres, Lighty, than maybe Ollie's was. As you can see, Ollie much more confident on the tyres. There's Marquez's with yet another 3-second time penalty, but remember Poe has a couple as well. This really will be decided at the checkered flag. Marquez's then 2 laps to go, and the Williams team will be backing Marquez's then. Maybe they'll want him to try and sign a full-time seat. But Plaster and Alan Kay, meanwhile, battling away as well. Got to keep an eye on that one as Plaster gets the move done for now. But then they come down towards turn 4. Alan Kay up the inside he goes. Can he get the traction zone right? Not quite. Plaster stays ahead for now. Yellow flags in sector 2. That could be back markers just getting out of the way of the leader then. And here comes Lighty, still on the back of that Red Bull, heading into turn 1. And you see there, Lighty not getting turn 1 right. He seems to worry about the rear tyres here. Spike in these closing stages has also closed up to Sean up ahead of him. And Sean will be wanting to hold on to 6th place as best as he possibly can. Meanwhile, Marquez is here, making his way through the final couple of corners as he looks to start the final lap of the race. Meanwhile, Alan Kay gets the move done on Plaster. And if they're not careful, these two will be lapped by the race leader. As that's Mays as well in the background. So these two are battling away. Mays is approaching these two at a rate of knots as well. Lighty still battling away with Ollie here as Spike tries to close in on Sean. Spike losing the back end slightly through turn 6. And Marquez is 16.3 ahead. Squeezy has a late charge, 2 seconds down on Poe. But is it going to be enough then? As we see Spike here making his way through turn 9, then through turn 10. Still trying to close in on Sean. He's got one more lap to do it. Lighty falling away from Ollie just a little bit. But Marquez is now making his way through turn 6 and then through turn 7. And Marquez is then, apart from that little bit of drama at the start of the race, it's been faultless running from the Williams driver. He might have picked up a couple of penalties here and there. We'll see what that does to the final result as he makes his way now through turn 9 and then coming down the hill towards turn 10. Marquez looks like he's going to take his first race win of the season and break Squeezy's deadlock here. He wins the Austrian Grand Prix and takes his front wing with him there. Poe making his way now towards the final couple of corners. It looks like he's going to try and grab P2 here as he makes his way around the final corner, loses that back end, makes his way towards the start finish line. It's P2, and what will Squeezy get? He jumps Poe then on penalties, and Poe has quite a margin of penalties right about now. Ollie looks like he's going to finish ahead of Lighty, at least on the track. Spike off stream, makes a move on Sean then, and Ollie comes around the final corner, and it looks like he's going to take 4th place away from Lighty. Good battle between the two of them there as they finish 4th and 5th. Spike then recovers to 6th place after that race, but is then jumped on penalties by Sean, who then takes back that 6th place. Barry here makes his way through the final couple of corners, and on his debut here, it looks like he's going to take a healthy points haul here. Round the final corner he goes. Mays just doesn't quite do enough to catch him. Then Barry comes across the line to take 8th place. Mays coming across the line in 9th. And that's going to be Pursuit coming across the line in 10th place. And George Roberts there is going to come home in 15th place. While Williams were adamant that this reserve driver was going to be making the impact. And Marquez picks up his first race win of the season. And he breaks Squeezy's domination, at least for one race. Marquez, your race winner for the Austrian Grand Prix. Well, Marquezes takes a race win, and even with his penalties, manages to finish ahead of Squeezy and breaks Squeezy's run of 6 consecutive wins. So let's have a look at the official, unofficial results then of the Austrian Grand Prix. And there it is. Marquezes wins from Squeezy in second. Poe then in third. That is your podium for today. Ollie then in fourth place with Lighty in fifth. With Sean finishing in sixth, continuing his great form. Spike recovering from 18th place and a pit stop very early on to recover to 7th place. Barry then on his debut scoring a healthy 4 points. Mays there finishing in 9th with Pursuit getting that points finish, but it could have been so much better for him. Yuzi there in 11th with Graham in 12th, Alan Kay in 13th and Plaster 14th with George Roberts rounding out the finishes in P15. Lambo disconnected with Crazy Legs and Zenki not finishing this race. And that was the Austrian Grand Prix. My goodness, it flew by, didn't it? Great to watch battles up and down the field, and Marquezes gets his first race win of the season. Of course, we will have Commentator's Corner, and we'll see if he sticks around to have a chat about that race. Obviously, Commentator's Corner is in a separate stream, so make sure you do subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell as well, so you're notified every time we go live. And funnily enough, you'll be notified when Commentator's Corner goes live. And Commentator's Corner will be back in a couple of minutes' time. Make sure you follow the league on Twitter as well. It's at TTL_F1. You can also follow me while you're there as well, at KSMCG F1. And, well, Commentator's Corner will be a separate stream. Get the drivers that we want to speak to in, and we will be back after this short break. Don't go away from the channel.